The Tachenj cliffs are about as remote as it gets on an island that measures only 4 miles by 9. They're home to quite a collection of birds, including shearwaters, and up until about 25 years ago, this was the last place on the islands where you could see peregrine falcons. Even people who can't point to Malta on a map know about the Maltese falcon, the Humphrey Bogart film about the hunt for a priceless statuette. It's pure fantasy, of course, but when the knights arrived in Malta in 1530, the token rent that they agreed to pay the King of Spain really was 1 falcon per year. There are no falcons in Malta anymore, not even here. Hunters have seen to that. The narrow waterway Umjar Ishini was one of the favourite landing places for the galleys of the pirates that I told you about earlier. It was used during a catastrophic raid in 1551, when Turks carried off 5,000 Gozatans. That's almost the entire population dragged into slavery. We're going to gain a little bit of height here over Umjar and ask air traffic control for permission to leave Gozo and cross back to Malta. Right in front of us in the harbour you can see 2 of the Gozo Channel Company's 3 new ferries. If we were in a car queuing for a place on one of those ships, we could expect to be back in Lucca in a little bit more than an hour. By plane, even at this speed, 15 minutes would be more than enough. We're not in a hurry though. We're going to pass Camino and the 3rd of the Gozo ferries on our left this time and head out along the west coast of Malta. This is one of the emptiest corners of Malta. Reasons to come here include a visit to the set of the 1980 film Popeye, starring Robin Williams, or for a swim in one of the spectacular rocky bays. This is Golden Bay, and that's Hein to Fear just round the headland. Nena and Fomiria, literally the mouth of the wind, are right round the coast. You'll notice that unlike many of the bathing spots on the north of the island, all these bays have long sandy beaches. One of the advantages of exploring a small island like this is that you can do an awful lot of it on foot. None of these spots are more than 4 miles from St. Paul's Bay, but if you do decide to do some walking, make sure that you avoid the hottest part of the day in the summer. Temperatures routinely climb into the 90s. Use lots of sunblock, wear proper shoes and take plenty of water with you is the sensible advice. We're going to turn inland now and set a course from Dina. The church in front of us is the cathedral. Mdina is the oldest town in the Maltese Islands, and until Valletta was finished in 1571, it was Malta's capital. We're going back down to earth to take a closer look. Cars are not allowed in the city unless you have a residence permit, and to be honest, it's not that much of a problem if you bear in mind that from one corner of the city to the other, it's barely half a kilometre. If you really don't fancy the walk, you can rent a horse and carriage from the nice gentleman with the moustache and tour the city in style. Mdina is called the Silent City, and a stroll through its shady streets is like stepping back in time. These narrow roads were not built with traffic in mind, and even today you are just as likely to meet a horse and carriage as you are a car. Motorised traffic is uncommon, but not unknown. The buildings in Mdina are not ordinary houses. The city is the home of the Maltese nobility, and these are their palaces and mansions. If you're lucky enough to walk past one of them when the door is open, you'll see marble and rich decorations that contrast starkly with the worn and sometimes slightly shabby exteriors. On the northern side of the city are the high bastions covered in clumps of caper bushes. They're a great place to look out over the surrounding countryside. There is Mostar and its famous domed church. In 1942, a 200-kilogram bomb smashed through that roof. 300 people were inside at the time, but incredibly the bomb didn't explode. There was quite a bit of tidying up to do, but not a single person was hurt. These school children jostling with the tourists for the best view are having an open-air history lesson. Try to imagine a better place to learn about the country that you live in than a spot like this, where you can see from one end to the other just by standing on a bench. Who said history was boring? Our last view from the bastions is across to Lucca Airport 6 miles away. And that is our cue to get back into the air for the last leg of our journey. We're going to fly up past Mostar to the coast and then turn right all the way along to Valletta, where we'll make another turn and begin our descent to Malta International Airport. So it's up into the air over another runway. Ta Ali was a military airbase during World War II and well into the 50s. Now it's home to the National Stadium and a craft village. From Ta Ali, we'll fly over Mostar and its dome, then skim over the fields to the coast.
Contact ground 1182. 6 Kilo 1182, fine.